History is not just about monuments and wars. It is also shaped by great cities swallowed by sand, jungle, and ocean. Once home to millions and standing at the heart of trade and power, these cities eventually disappeared from humanity's memory. Today, we embark on a journey into the deepest secrets of the past. We will explore 7 mysterious cities, each serving as a warning and telling the story of the rise and fall of civilizations. Every stone in these ancient places breaks the silence of millennia, whispering to us across time. Here we begin. 7 mysterious cities rescued from oblivion. The dawn of history. Çatalhöyük, 7,400 BC. We stand at the dawn of history. In the fertile Konya plain of Anatolia, humanity attempts something it has never tried before: living together. This is Çatalhöyük, the laboratory of the Neolithic Revolution. A city without streets. This city had no streets, no squares, no avenues. A stranger approaching the settlement would see nothing but a massive cluster of mud brick walls. Life unfolded across the rooftops. People descended into their homes from above, using wooden ladders. This remarkable architecture offered protection from wild animals and provided excellent thermal insulation. Life and death intertwined. Once inside, you wouldn't be greeted only by the living. The people of Çatalhöyük did not leave their dead behind. They buried them beneath the floors of their homes, directly under the platforms where they slept. Grandmothers, children, ancestors, all remained silent companions in daily life, resting just beneath the feet of the living. This was a world where life and death were inseparable, where the spirits of ancestors were believed to guard the home. The weight of success. On the walls, they painted hunting scenes and headless vultures. Yet this tightly knit community became a victim of its own success. After a millennium of continuous occupation, the environment began to fail. Each day, people had to walk farther to gather firewood. As the population grew, disease spread rapidly within the enclosed houses. Çatalhöyük was not abandoned after a great war. It was slowly and sorrowfully left behind, burdened by resource depletion and mounting social strain. Eastward to the jewel of the Indus. Now we turn our compass eastward, towards the borders of present-day Pakistan. 2500 BC. The jewel in the crown of the Indus Valley civilization, Mohenjo-Daro. A time traveler seeing this place might assume they were in a modern European city. The master engineers. Why? Because there was no chaos here. The city was built according to a millimetric grid plan. Every single brick was fired to a standardized size. Beneath the city, a closed sewage network, one that would make modern engineers envious, was fully operational. Wastewater was carried away from the city using terracotta pipes. The sacred water. And at the heart of the city, there was no temple, but a gigantic water tank, the Great Bath. This was proof of the sacred importance they placed on cleanliness and water. But nature always triumphs over engineering. Mohenjo-Daro's end came like a price paid for its desire to control the water. The river's revenge. Tectonic plates shifted. Riverbeds changed. The city first struggled with massive floods, then was scorched by the ensuing drought. When archaeologists excavated, they encountered a chilling sight. They named the Massacre of Mohenjo-Daro. Skeletons found in the middle of the street, embracing one another, seemingly having died while trying to escape. The real killer While some researchers suggest this was an invasion, the real killer was likely climate change and the resulting chaos from a collapsed system. That perfect order vanished in the vice grip of water and drought. Superpower of the Bronze Age. Hattusha. Welcome to the superpower of the Bronze Age, an empire carved into the rocks in the heart of Anatolia. Hattusha, the capital of the Hittites. This was the city of 1,000 gods. Hittite kings would bring the god of every people they conquered to their capital, building temples for all of them, so as not to offend any deity. The birth of diplomacy. This was the birthplace of diplomacy. The Treaty of Kadesh, the first written peace treaty in history, made with the Egyptians, was shaped behind these walls. The city's power was so immense that, in the open-air sanctuary of Yazilikaya, the kings were depicted in the embrace of the gods. The Bronze Age collapse. However, around 1200 BC, Armageddon broke out in the eastern Mediterranean. The Bronze Age collapse. Drought, famine, and mysterious invaders arriving from the sea. Hattusha was besieged from both inside and out. A civilization consumed by fire. The archaeological evidence is terrifying. The city burned at such an intense heat that the mud bricks turned into glass. The royal palace, the temples, the granaries, everything was set on fire. The Hittites desperately carved their prayers onto clay tablets, but the gods did not answer. When the empire collapsed, Anatolia entered a dark age that lasted for centuries. Palenque, a sleeping beauty, nestled among the vines in the forests of Chiapas, Mexico. Palenque, the most elegant, the most aesthetic city in the Maya world. These gray stones were once painted blood red, and with the mist descending upon them, they must have seemed like a living legend. The secret of Lord Pakal. The city's greatest secret remained in darkness until 1952. Archaeologist Alberto Ruz Luillier discovered a hidden staircase beneath the floor of the Temple of the Inscriptions. After years of excavation, he reached a dark, humid chamber. There lay King Pakal, his mask covered in jade stones, the astronaut of Palenque. Pakal's sarcophagus lid fired the imagination of the modern world. Some claimed the figure on the lid was an astronaut inside a rocket. This made Palenque an icon of popular culture. Yet, the truth was even more captivating. The carvings depicted Pakal's descent into the underworld, Xibalba, and his rebirth as a maize god via the sacred world tree. A silent surrender, but cosmic rebirth could not save the city. Overpopulation, deforestation, and drought. Not even the complex Maya calendar could prevent the end. The city silently surrendered to the jungle, transforming into a kingdom of howler monkeys and jaguars. Petra, treasure carved into stone. In the middle of the desert, a mirage carved into the heart of the rock. Petra, the rose-red city. The Nabateans were a nomadic people, but here they transformed into the masters of trade. Silk from China and incense from Arabia changed hands here. The genius of water. Their true genius was less about architecture and more about hydraulic engineering. In the desert, they established a massive system that captured flash floods and confined the water in huge cisterns. Petra was an oasis amidst thirst, a center of wealth. The silence of the caravans. Petra's fate was tied not to the stones, but to the trade routes. When the Roman Empire discovered the sea routes, The ringing of the caravan bells fell silent. The city bled out like a giant whose economic veins had been severed. Then came the earthquake of 363 AD, which broke the city's spine. Lost and found. No one remained except for Christian monks and a few Bedouins. For centuries, it remained a legend, a lost place to the Western world. That is, until 1812, when a Swiss explorer, disguised as a local, stepped inside that narrow canyon. The sinking city, Port Royal. Now, witness the fastest destruction history has ever seen. The late 17th century, Port Royal, Jamaica. This was not the capital of the Caribbean, but the wickedest city on earth, the capital of sin. Pirates, prostitutes, smugglers. A haven of crime, tolerated by the British Crown, where buccaneers like Henry Morgan served as governors. Fortunes were made in a single night and lost on a single game of chance. June 7th, 1692. A dreadful roar from beneath the ground cut the laughter short. The ground, through a geological phenomenon called liquefaction, instantly turned into pudding. People, buildings, churches. They were pulled alive into the sand, right where they stood. In mere minutes, 2/3 of the city was swallowed by the ocean. A time capsule underwater. The survivors swore it was God's punishment. Today, Port Royal is a time capsule frozen underwater. Divers find pocket watches stopped at 1692 and wine bottles that were never uncorked. The wicked city was trapped forever at the bottom of the ocean. Lulan, the kingdom in the sands. Our final stop is in the heart of Asia, among the unforgiving sands of the Taklamakan Desert. Lulan. It was a kingdom of oases, rich in water and green with trees, where Silk Road merchants sought refuge to survive. Look at the 3,800-year-old beauty of Lulan mummy found here. With her long eyelashes, feathered cap, and leather boots, she looks as though she fell asleep just yesterday. She is proof of how livable these lands once were. The river's betrayal. But when the Tarim River changed its course, Lulan's death warrant was signed. In the last recovered military records, we see the desperate pleas of the administrators writing, "Send water. Our soldiers are dying of thirst." Human ambition and climate change turned the oasis into a desert. Swallowed by silence. The wind filled the houses with sand. Lulan was buried in the silence of the desert, a place known as the place where you enter but cannot leave. The wall paintings of Çatalhöyük, the vitrified bricks of Hattusha, the submerged clocks of Port Royal, they all tell us the same thing. Nothing is permanent. They, too, believed the order they established would be eternal. But nature, economics, and the gears of time can grind down even the strongest stones. These 7 cities are not mere ghosts of the past. They are a mirror of the future. When we look at our own cities today, what do we see? An endless ascent, or new ruins waiting for their turn. History is doomed to repeat itself for those who fail to learn its lessons, and the hourglass continues to run.